Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Jennifer Nibbe? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing you by this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Jennifer Nibbe was born on March 14, 1977, and was raised in Lake Crystal, Minnesota. This is a small farming town, an hour and a half southwest of Minneapolis. Jennifer became pregnant at the age of 16 and had a son named Brady. She went to school to become a nurse. Jennifer eventually found a job at a local surgery center and purchased a house. In 2007, she met a man named James Nibbe, and they became romantically involved. James went by the name Jim. He worked as an electrician apprentice. The couple married on May 24, 2008. Jennifer, Jim, and Jennifer's son Brady lived in her house. The family struggled financially as Jim did not earn a lot of money. Jennifer would occasionally work double shifts and was the breadwinner of the family. Despite her efforts, she and her husband had a lot of credit card debt and a second mortgage on their house. They were behind on payments. At some point, Jennifer became addicted to prescription pain medication. This only increased the financial strain the family was under. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On Tuesday, August 31, 2010, not long before 6 a.m., Jennifer Nibbe called 911. She reported that an unknown intruder shot her husband during the course of a home invasion. When the police arrived, Jennifer told them that she was in the bathroom brushing her teeth when she heard a gunshot. At another point, Jennifer said that she was taking a shower when she heard a gunshot, so she supplied two different stories. Jennifer said that she opened the bathroom door and saw that her husband had been shot. She also saw an intruder holding a shotgun. The intruder placed a rope around her neck, cut her with a knife, and dragged her to the living room. After hearing dogs barking, the intruder left as he informed Jennifer that she was lucky. Here's what the police found during the course of their investigation. Jim Nibbe had been killed with a single shotgun blast. He was on his stomach in bed when he was murdered. Evidently, he was sleeping. The shotgun belonged to Jennifer. Jim recently gave it to her as a gift and taught her how to use it. Jennifer had cuts on her neck and her legs, which she claimed were caused by the mysterious intruder. The knife that was used to cut her came from the family house. The rope that was used in the alleged attack also came from the house. It had been in the garage. There was no sign of forced entry into the house. It had been raining that day, so the police expected to find tire tracks and footprints outside the house, but there were none. There were no footprints inside the house either. There was some evidence of an altercation in the house, but it was not consistent with the massive struggle that Jennifer described. Mostly, the house was just disorganized. The police discovered that not everything was great in Jennifer's life. They learned about the money problems that the family was having and that Jennifer was addicted to pain medication. Since June 2010, Jennifer had been exchanging adults-only images and text messages with a man that she had dated in the past. Jennifer and her lover had made plans to meet on Thursday, 2 days after the murder. Jennifer intended to perform oral sex during that encounter. The police recovered a diary that Jennifer kept. It contained information indicating that she was in love with another man. She wrote that her husband was a good man, but she did not want to be with him anymore. In June 2010, Jim obtained a $250,000 life insurance policy. The police did not believe that there had been an intruder in the Nibbe family house. They initially believed that only a limited number of people could have been the perpetrator. For example, Jennifer and her son, who were both in the house when the murder happened, and a former lover of Jennifer's who may have had a motive. Investigators ultimately narrowed down the list to just one person, Jennifer. They came to the conclusion that Jennifer committed the murder and that no one else was involved. On September 10, 2010, Jennifer was arrested for murder. She initially refused to talk to the police, but then unwisely agreed to give them a statement. Jennifer said that she could not live this lie. On the day of the killing, she woke up at 5:30 a.m. in a panic. She retrieved the shotgun and loaded one shell into it. She rested the gun on her husband's shoulder and pulled the trigger. Jennifer insisted that she worked alone. No one else was involved in the murder. She indicated that her drug use was a factor, and she was compelled by voices in her head. The story about the intruder was something she made up to escape responsibility. In March of 2011, Jennifer was indicted on one count of first-degree murder and one count of second-degree murder. At first, this case seemed open and shut. Jennifer confessed to murdering her husband. After Jennifer spoke with defense attorneys, the case became more complex. Jennifer's defense argued that she may have been under the effects of drugs when the confession was given. In addition, Jennifer accused her husband, Jim, of committing offenses of a sexual nature against her. There was some evidence which supported Jennifer's claims. The state decided to offer Jennifer a plea bargain. On July 9, 2012, Jennifer pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. The state agreed to drop the first-degree murder charge. Jennifer received 25.5 years in prison, which is what the state had recommended. If Jennifer had not taken the plea deal, she would have faced life in prison without the possibility of parole, because that was the mandatory sentence for first-degree murder. Jennifer is eligible for parole after 15 years. It is anticipated that she will be released in 2027. After her conviction, Jennifer had buyer's remorse about the plea agreement, even though it was the deal of the century. She filed an appeal saying that her guilty plea should not have been accepted. Essentially, she argued that she did not make an adequate acknowledgement that the evidence would be sufficient for a jury to find her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Jennifer was not successful with her appeal. Now moving to my analysis. There is no question that Jennifer Nibbe killed her husband, but there is a debate over what crime she actually committed. Some people are upset that the state offered her second-degree murder and didn't pursue first-degree murder. Others have argued that Jennifer is only guilty of manslaughter. This brings me to the question, was Jennifer Nibbe guilty of murder, or was manslaughter the more appropriate charge in her case? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that she was guilty of murder. Starting with the inculpatory factors. There is no question that Jennifer killed her husband with the shotgun that she owned. After the shooting, she made up a story about an intruder and even injured herself in an effort to support the false narrative. She was also deceptive later when she claimed not to remember what happened during the shooting due to her drug use. Jennifer started an affair about 2 months before shooting her husband. In her diary, she indicated that she wanted to be with her new lover and was tired of her husband. At around the same time that Jennifer started having the affair, Jim took out a $250,000 life insurance policy. Jennifer contacted the insurance company the day after killing her husband, looking to collect on his policy. Jennifer had an addiction to substances. Her precarious path was paved with prescription pain pills, and she needed pecuniary proceeds to perpetuate her perilous predicament. In addition to having a money shortage because of the addiction, the family financial situation was tight because Jim did not earn a lot. This gave Jennifer a motive to kill him, like she resented him. She was the one providing most of the financial support for the family. Jennifer claimed that Jim had committed terrible offenses against her, but she never reported this to the police. Now moving to the exculpatory factors. The shotgun used in the killing may have belonged to Jennifer, but it was recently purchased for her as a gift from Jim. She did not provide the means for the murder, her husband did. Maybe she impulsively retrieved the shotgun and did not plan the murder. Jennifer had several complaints about Jim's sexual behavior, and she claimed to be a victim. She indicated that he wanted sex all the time, and it was becoming irritating, stressful, and overwhelming for her. He engaged in excessive groping, and his performance was not satisfying for her. Jim's behavior became increasingly bizarre and aggressive. He became highly interested in using restraints and was fascinated by asphyxiation. Jennifer implied that Jim's behavior became so extreme it rose to a criminal level. She developed symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Perhaps Jennifer used drugs to mask the pain caused by Jim's attack. Maybe Jim was somehow responsible for Jennifer's behavior. The results from Jim's autopsy revealed that he had both HIV and hepatitis. Jennifer did not test positive for either illness. This makes it seem as though Jim was being promiscuous. He also had a large collection of adults-only videos and images. Some of the material was hidden in his vehicle. In addition to supporting Jennifer's story about Jim's harmful behavior, Jim's positive test offers an alternate explanation for why he purchased insurance. The insurance that he obtained required a test for HIV. Maybe when Jim realized that he had been exposed to the virus, he immediately applied for the insurance while he could still test negative, like he was trying to buy insurance before he would no longer be able to buy it. When considering all the evidence, do I think that Jennifer Nibbe was guilty of murder? Yes, I believe she was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. She planned on killing her husband because she wanted to be with her new lover, and she needed money to fuel her addiction. Jennifer was simply done with her marriage. She was not trapped there with Jim. She had non-shotgun-related methods available to end her marriage, for example, divorce. I think her claims about being harmed by Jim may have been rooted in actual events, but she exaggerated them in order to create a mental health defense. Her effort was successful. Jennifer should have been imprisoned for life without the possibility of parole, but instead she will be released when she is about 50 years old. I think this case illustrates how powerful it is when a victim's bad behavior is used against them in a murder case. Jim was not around to offer any explanation or defend himself against the accusations. He was by no means perfect, and Jennifer was able to use this to get a lighter sentence. Now moving to my final thoughts. This case illustrates how characteristics like a lack of insight, self-centeredness, a sense of entitlement, sensation-seeking, and impulsivity can be fatal under certain circumstances. Jim was too wrapped up in his own desires to realize that his wife was having an affair, using drugs, and planning to murder him. He was so oblivious to the warning signs, he even purchased his wife a shotgun. Jennifer was too wrapped up in her addiction and in infidelity to realize that murder was not a good option. She was completely focused on gaining pleasure and avoiding pain. Human life did not matter. I think this case involved two self-centered and insensitive people who were living their lives as if they were not married. They both had a lack of empathy and focused only on their own desires. Ultimately, one of them was willing to take the relationship to a homicidal level. Those are my thoughts in the case of Jennifer Nibbe. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.